Fun fact, did you guys know that when RWBY was first announced, people actually thought the B in RWBY stood for blue since it went well with the primary color association red, yellow, blue. However, later on, when the trailer were announced, people finally learned that it actually stood for black, or Blake. Greetings, my viewers, and welcome to my room. Now, one of my favorite series of all time has to be the original web series RWBY, created by Rooster Teeth. And now, with the touch screening that just happened in select theaters, RWBY Chibi that came out this month, and Volume 4 coming out this fall, I feel it's the perfect time to take a look at this amazing series. Hey, isn't that the show where you started crying in front of the computer screen, saying, "No, no, why did they kill?" Hey! Spoiler alert, some people haven't seen it yet. And I do not sound like that. Really? What about this? No, 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 no!
No! No! Why? No! No, 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 no. Why? Why? Why would they kill?
Okay, that's enough! As you can see, I really like RWBY. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the start of my RWBY analysis, where I'll take a deeper look into the design, the personality, and the equipment of the character in order to discover their origin and inspiration. This month, let's take a look at our main stars, the RWBY team. Starting off with our protagonist, Ruby Rose.
Red like roses fills my dream.
Just looking at her character design, we can see the clear inspiration of Jason Todd. Wait, what? Jason Todd, you know, the red hood, because she has a red hood. No, but you are right about the red hood though. You see, the character is actually inspired from the Little Red Riding Hood. There are actually even more similarities between the two characters. In the Red trailer, we see RWBY take off wolf-shaped Grim called Beowulf, which is a clear reference to the big back wolf in the fable. Furthermore, the Grim creature are also a reference to the brother Grimm, who also wrote their own version of the fable. There's even a popular theory in the fanbase stating that RWBY actually got her signature cape from her mom, Summer Roach, which once again will be similar to the original fable about how the Little Red Riding Hood got her, well, red hood from her mom. Oh, that makes sense. Is that what the ginger guy with the cane called her Red? I think you meant Torchwick, and yeah, that could be another reference to fable. However, there's another obvious source of inspiration, which is the Grim Reaper. Wait, I saw the Grim Reaper was like a skeleton under the hood. What does that have to do with a teenage girl? Well, as you said, Snipnarks, there is the hood, but also, let's take a look at the color scheme of her character. If we look at her character design, her main color is certainly red, but also black. However, in the fable, red was usually depicted with white clothes underneath her hood. So, this black could be a reference to the hood of the Grim Reaper, which is always black. In addition, there's the obvious comparison between Crescent Rose and the Death Sight, called Crescent Moon. Plus, the conception of a pale skeleton under the hood is a very recent conception of death. In many cultures, death is actually portrayed as a woman, such as in Poland, Scandinavia, Baltic, and Latin America. She's even a female character in the Marvel comic, being the love interest of both Thanos and Deadpool. However, death is portrayed with a white robe in Poland, unlike the traditional black robe that we see. So, this could be a possible source of inspiration for RWBY's mother, Summer Rose. Actually, speaking of Summer Rose, let's look at her tombstone. On there's the message, "Thus kindly I scattered," which is a line from the Thomas More poem, The Last Rose of Summer. As such, we can assume that this is the reason that RWBY leaves a trail of rose petal when she uses her semblance. And my own theory is that likewise, RWBY's semblance is hereditary, which means that her mother also possessed the same power, explaining why this particular message was left on her tombstone. And now, if we look at RWBY's character design closely, we see two little cross pins on her hood. So, maybe she's Christian. What does that have to do with anything? You might be right, Stibnard, but I believe this is actually an allusion to a passage in the Bible. You see, as we mentioned earlier, one of her possible sources of inspiration was the Grim Reaper, which in the Christian religion is one of the 4 horsemen of apocalypse. As a matter of fact, these 4 horsemen could be a source of inspiration for the entire team. It has been described in the last book of the New Testament, called the Book of Revelation of Jesus Christ to John the Apostle, that 4 beings came out from the underworld on 4 different mounts. A red horse, a white horse, a black horse, and finally a pale horse, which, depending on which translation of the ancient Greek you use, can be described as a pale yellow. Now, let's move on to the Ice Queen herself. Ooh, are we talking about Elsa? I love that movie. What? No! I'm talking about Weiss Schnee.
Night is cold and always yearning.
Why would I be talking about Elsa in a RWBY video? As a source of inspiration? The movie came out after the show, and her actual source of inspiration was actually Snow White and not Elsa. Starting off, her name, Weiss Schnee, literally means white snow in German. In addition, she's also the heiress of the Schnee Dust Company, which may be an allusion to the 7 dwarfs in the fairy tale, since, like how the dwarfs were jewel miners, the company's profit is centered around mining dust, a crystal containing incredible amounts of energy. In fact, the company's slogan is even the finest of them all, which could be a reference to the famous question that the queen asked the mirror, who's the fairest of them all. Speaking of mirror, in her trailer, the song that was playing was titled Mirror, Mirror, which, once again, alludes to the magic mirror in Snow White. Finally, the pendant on her necklace is actually shaped like an apple. Combine that with the fact that in Jarnadis, her meal was only composed of an apple, this obviously refers to the poisoned apple eaten by Snow White. Okay, fair enough. Then what about her weapon and semblance? Oh, her semblance actually doesn't really have anything to do with Snow White. It actually is an allusion to the magical griff used in many RPGs and in Norse anthropology. And if you want to know about her weapon, just because that Mountie studied fencing as a kid. Really? Oh my god, what a loser! Hey, the guy was a great artist and just passed away. Show him some respect. And plus, I studied fencing for like 2 years. Proving my point. Moving on. Let's take a look at our next team member, Blake Belladonna.
Like the beast descend from shadow.
Now, minor spoiler warning for Volume 1 here. So if you haven't seen this entirety of Volume 1, just skip to the Yang analysis at this time. Done? Good. Let's move on. Now, as any fan of the series will tell you, Blake is a faunus, a species of creature who look identical to human, except having a single animal trait. In the case of our female ninja, she has cat's ear in addition to her human ears. Wait, so that makes 4 years? Yeah, that was really weird. But her reveal as a fauna was a pretty big part in Volume 1. So I'm guessing they did it so people won't realize right away that she didn't have normal ears and just guess that, oh, she must be a faunus. Okay, that seems fair. I think? Don't think about it too much. Anyway, the faunus were obviously an allusion to Faunus, the Roman god of forest, wild, and nature, better known as his Greek counterpart, Pan. The name is even associated with Satyr, which, if you read the Percy Jackson series, is a half-goat, half-human hybrid. However, the Greeks weren't the only one who made hybrid between animal and humans. Countless ancient culture has done so, such as Japanese mythology with their yokais and Egyptian gods. In fact, it's actually in these two mythology that has the most famous female feline hybrid, Catwoman! I said Japan and Egypt! That's bloody Batman! I'm actually talking about the goddess of cat, family, and love, Bastet, and the supernatural creature called Bakemiko and Nikomata. In fact, in Japanese tales, these two yokais are normally depicted as cat who morphed into powerful creatures, vow to take revenge against a human who treated them horribly. Actually, this part is very similar to a part of Blake's life where she was in the White Fan, a terrorist group fighting for equality between faunus and humans with violence and revenge. Of course, these aren't her main sources of inspiration, since those titles belong to Belle in the Beauty and the Beast and the pop culture's ninjas. First off, she's a huge book fanatic, just like Belle was in the original fairy tale. Secondly, if you listen to the lyrics in Red Like Roses, you see that Blake is referred to Black the Beast. And finally, she even owns a candelabra, which is a clear reference to Lumiere in the original Disney movie. Wait, a canto what now? A candelabra. It's a candle holder. It's a 3-pronged candle holder. Then why didn't you say that since the start? Use words people can actually understand. Well, excuse me, princess, for using the correct word to describe the right object, because you can't Google words. Now, moving on. If we look at her battle skill, semblance, and even by her name, we can also see the resemblance to the ninjas. Her battle style is based on speed and agility, and even her semblance is making shadow clones. And her name is even in accordance with Japanese assassin, with Blake meaning black in Old English and Belladonna meaning fair lady in Italian, which is also the name of a toxic plant commonly known as deadly nightshade, which produce black berries, allusion to how the ninjas and assassins often use poison to kill their victims. Now finally, let's end off with the Yang! Get it? Yang? We're talking about Yang Xiaolong. That was really bad, man. Shut up! Let's start off with her name. It's actually Chinese for a little sun dragon, and it's actually supposed to be pronounced Yang Xiaolong. This is actually quite appropriate considering that her semblance allows her to light her hair up in flame like a fire dragon. Speaking of those hair, she is very protective of them.
Jeez, you two couldn't hit the broadside of a... You... You monster!
The reason behind this is that her semblance and power originate from her hair. Similarly to the tale of Samson and Delia, where Samson, the invincible hero with strength granted by the god itself, was rendered helpless by a woman named Delia, Samson's lover, by betraying him and cutting off his hair, which was the source of his power. Now let's talk about her personality, which is nearly an exact copy-paste of her voice actress personality, Barbara Dunkman. We can see this through their common love of bad puns.
I'm talking about kicking off the semester with a bang.
I always kick my semesters off with the yang. Eh? Guys? Am I right?
Sure.
Are you trying to say that
Eat.
eating eagle...
For meals.
Are you trying to say eating eagle is not le eagle?
Wow. Okay.
In fact, the sunglasses that Yang has is an actual pair of glasses that Barbara owned, and in Yang's flashback, we saw her pigtail, which were inspired by Barbara, who also had pigtail when she was younger. Now finally, her main character inspiration is obviously from Goldilocks, with the golden hair, and the fact that the first grims she fought were a pair of Ursa, a bear-shaped grim, allusion to the bears in the fairy tale. Furthermore, in her trailer, she fights a DJ wearing a bear mask, and Junior, whose real name is Heixiong, which is Mandarin for black bear. And that includes our first episode of our RWBY Analysis Marathon. Join me next time when we'll take a look at Team Juniper. Ciao!